So in looking at the file here that was converted from SS2 to SS4, the annotation scale stuff seems to work pretty well for the cells. I would just double check to make sure that all the cells need to scale up, because there are some cells that probably don't need to, like if you have inlets or anything like that, those would probably stay the same size and not be annotative. Manholes are probably the same way. They wouldn't be annotative, I don't believe. I think maybe they'd stay the same size, but that's something you could look at. Um, Other than that, I think that the cells are fine like that. I know you talked about going in and changing the layers or the levels for each one of these line types that are out here, or the line styles. I wouldn't do it that way, because that's kind of the old MicroStation way of doing things and the old SS2 way of doing things. In SS4, these things need to be features. So like if I zoom in, we'll take example this guardrail here. When I highlight the guardrail and look at the properties of it, you can see there's no feature in here. There's some photo guardrail level and so forth, but there's no actual feature assigned to it. If I hover over it, you see it says SMD feature, but that's kind of the old SMD feature. There'll be another um, line in here too that talk about the feature. So I'll show you how to do that, and I think it's going to go super fast for you when you do this to these files. First thing I would do is pull up the element selection tool here, and then expand that element selection tool out. If I kind of hover over one of those guardrails, I can see that it's on the level photo dash guardrail. So I'm going to scroll down to that one, photo dash guardrail, in this drop down area, and locate that and go ahead and select it here. Once you select it here, it's going to select all the guardrail that's out there. And then there's a tool in SS4 under the tasks, under general geometry here. There is on the first row, the fourth tool over is set feature definition. So you're going to want to do that. And that feature definition right now is on my mouse there. It says data point to apply a feature definition for 80 selected elements. So you can do all this at one time. What you want to do though is grab the right feature definition. So the feature definition here, we're going to be grabbing it from the MoDOT Power Geopack SMD file. And that may be different than the one you have. You just have to make sure that you have the one for SS4, which should come with our program. And what we're going to be looking for is the photogrammetry codes. So if I scroll down in here, I believe that is going to be on the roadside area. So we'll expand that out. And then there's guardrail. Expand that out, and there's 1120. So we'll go ahead and pick 1120. And then we're going to go ahead and you can even give it a name if you want to. Guardrail. And it won't name them all guardrail. It'll actually put numbers after them, because you can only have one name per item in SS4. So we can put guardrail out here. And then we're just going to left click to data point to add that to all of those. So now if we take a look at it, hovering over it, it kind of looks pretty much the same hovering over it. But if we look at the heads up display for that one, now you'll see that up here there's a feature name and there's a feature definition applied to those. So it didn't really take the guardrail portion of it, but it did take the feature definition, and that's the biggest concern right there, is this feature definition. Now that will apply all the correct line styles to everything that needs to have a line style to it. Alright, so once you change the guardrail here, you're going to need to make sure that the model is actually set to turn on the annotation scale. So what you'll do is go up to models here and right click on that model and go to properties, and you'll want to make sure that this line style scale is set to annotation scale. I think when I first opened this file, it was set at global line style scale, and that won't allow it to scale up and down when you place it in there. So we'll just make sure that that says annotation scale, and then maybe double check everything else in here as far as it can be placed as annotation scale for for cell properties. You might want to make sure those things are on. I think in the MoDOT SS4 library they're already on, but SS2 ones they probably were not. So make sure that that's turned on in here, and then as you can see we changed that guardrail. You can go out here then and select that, and then everything will scale up and down according to that.